Hi and welcome. This is Eric, and I'm continuing with this video series. So if you haven't seen the previous videos, please go back and watch. So in this video, I'd like to cover more about EHR. Okay, if you remember in the previous video, I visualized EHR as this. So this is in terms of just I can say layman's view, but when it comes to data expert, all we see is patient system. So over here, you're gonna see this is a separate system. This is a pharmacy. This is clinical administrations, lab, radiology, nursing, and many more. I just created this diagram here to show you an example. And all these here, they are kind of processed in a certain algorithm, okay? And all this information here, at the end of the day, gonna be loaded in EHR. EHR stands for electronic health record, okay? So it's a combination of multiple systems if you think about it, okay? And if you know database relationship, you can already guess this information will be in terms of tables. This information will be stored in different tables. Now we are getting a little bit into technical part, okay? And that information we can either use all these different kind of algorithm or protocols. FTP stands for file transfer protocol. We do have HL7. Okay, we do have web service. Okay, we do have web application. Sometimes you just use web application and go to the web. You log in with your username. This information is to be secure, so you have to log in. Okay. You have to log in to access this information or to enter this information. Okay, and then over here, I'm not sure if you can see, but you can see a CSV text file and all these ways. So these individual systems, these are silos, separate systems. They come together using this algorithm here, and it can be any of these really. Okay, or sometimes just a web application really. Again, if you want to learn more in details, contact me, by the way. So probably this information is stored, maybe they can be maybe even a file, and then later on they FTP, they transfer that file to a centralized location, okay, using the file transfer protocol. Or sometimes they use HL7. HL7 stands for Health Level 7. It's just a standard for exchanging health information between medical applications. Okay, web application can be just a web browser where maybe administrators or whoever registers that information, they enter that information about that patient. Okay, and all these patients here, they are identified by a unique identifier. We call it MRN. MRN stands for medical record number. So if you do have one medical record number, if you go to any of these systems here, that's where it's going to be recorded. And if we enter your information into the electronic health system, that's when you'll be identified. So if your medical number is 123, so everywhere you go, your medical number will be the same. Account number may change depending on the number of visitors. So if you have an account number is just for accounting purposes, so that they know how much they're gonna bill you, and that's different it's different every time you visit either the hospital, the pharmacy, the clinic, and all that. Okay, but MRN really doesn't change. It shouldn't be really shouldn't be different every time you visit. Now, some of the problems, maybe if you ask, some of the problem you're gonna may find is people have duplicates. Okay, patient have duplicates MRN, or one patient have more than one MRN. So part of data cleaning or cleansing, you're gonna have to make sure that every patient have only one MRN, and probably if one was old, yeah, if they get a new one, make sure they do have that, or you can find a way to combine both of them or to identify both of them uh, if they belong to one patient. And you can do things like you can use maybe the driving license, you can use maybe social security number, or any other ways or any other patient information where you can easily combine that information. So once the information is in EHR and you want to analyze that information, won't go deeper in the EHR. Really, our goal is to gather this information from EHR, use ETL process, and load that information to CDW, Clinical Data Warehouse. Okay, that's our goal. Okay, so this is just simple information about EHR. Now let's learn about CDW. CDW is just a clinical data warehouse. Probably you've learned SQL data warehouse. It's the same thing, but this is just for clinical data. That's what it's called, clinical data warehouse. Okay, so what is clinical data warehouse? It's a unique system that gathers and aggregates patient data such as demographics, diagnosis, and medications. These are just a few of them, right? And then makes the clinical information available for analysis, reporting, and researching or research purposes. Okay, so now we've learned about this data. This information is we are extracting, or we're going to extract that information from EHR, and then we're going to load that information to a clinical data warehouse. And really all we need is for analysis, reporting, and researching purposes. Okay, we are not researchers, so really our data is going to be for analysis and reporting purposes. And all we've done right now, all that time, is to really get to this project. So we'll be working on this project here. Okay, so if you're a SQL developer, report writer, or business analyst, this is where you really need to focus. Now we're getting to technical part. Okay, so we do have this project here. Okay, and we do have the hospital. You can call it any name, to be honest. Okay, so I just chose DMK. You can choose ABC, XYZ, whatever. So the project information is currently DMK Hospital captures and stores patient information in electronic health record. Okay, we have seen the way it has been captured, or it captures. It's just using different algorithm to EHR. Okay, this is out of the scope, but again, if you want to learn specific about EHR, contact me. Okay, so it captures the information and insert it to really stores this information to EHR. Okay, existing data stored in EHR transaction database have enormous potential to improve performance measurement and healthcare quality. Accessing, organizing, and using these data to support research and quality improvement project evolving challenges for DMK. So we know there are some challenges here, and really, as you can say, transaction database is designed. Okay, they normalize these tables. It's designed for primary key and foreign key, for something we call crude activities. And now I'm gonna open back my notepad here because I mentioned one word. It's crude. We call that crude. Crude is create. R is read. U is update. And I stands for insert. So transaction database. If you remember this EHR, it's a transaction. If you remember, we did a OLTP, OLAP. So this will be CW. Okay. So transaction processing, EHR. This is typical for creating maybe records. You read the records, you update. So if you go to the hospital, they're gonna be inserting a record, maybe updating with the latest information like the address and all that. And you can read that information, and you can create more objects and all that, or new records or new data set. Okay, that is really transaction database. This is used on daily activities, but if you want to pull the information for maybe analysis, okay, or researching purposes, an example would be how many patients were admitted, how many patients were admitted last year or last 5 years. If you try to write this report in this database, it will take time. And if it's and that's just simple information, right? You can go to details with diagnosis and all that. So if you run this query in OLTP transaction database, it may slow down. First, the query will take longer to run. At the same time, when it's running, really, you're gonna find yourself like doing these activities or doing these activities, or running these commands may take longer. So it's affecting affecting the performance of EHR. So the solution is first is to extract that information and put it in an analysis protocol, in a CDW. That way, and we do modeling. We install information in terms of dimension tables and fact tables. This is a better way to really analyze the information, or really retrieve this kind of information. Okay, we store information in it's in such a way the information is aggregated. You can see this aggregated patient information. We don't store really individual records. Really store in such a way it's easy for us to analyze, and I'll show you how. But depending with what you want to analyze, that's where you're gonna pull that information specific. You're gonna make your report faster, and at the same time, you won't affect the performance of transaction database day-to-day activities. Okay, so the project really to be about this DMK hospital. It stores information so far in a really EHR, and it does have some potential problems, and we can find a way to improve the performance and healthcare quality. Okay, so go to the next slide here. So you as an analyst or maybe I can say ETL developer, whatever you want to call, you are required to develop a clinical data warehouse for DMK to store imported electronic data from existing EHR. You can see that. Okay, we're importing that information stored in EHR. Okay, and we're gonna import this information and put in a clinical data warehouse. So if you've done SQL data warehouse, it's the same thing, but this is clinical data. Okay, data warehouse can contain maybe mortgage information, maybe any kind of information, banking information, maybe just ATM and all that. Okay, so this data warehouse aims at providing corporate information and hospital statistics that can be viewed by directors and management, or by those who are authorized to see it. Of course, you have to authorize this information. PHI is really critical. You have to really secure that information. Okay, so the information include all users, registrations, payment, consultation statistics, pharmacy, surgery, transplants, devices, patients, and doctors, healthcare bills, multi-valued diagnosis, preventive healthcare, cooperative counseling, and continues. It is so much information. We cannot cover everything, okay? Otherwise the video gonna be wrong. Maybe it will take you 6 months to complete. I don't want you to do that for you guys. So project requirement. What is the project requirement so far? If you ask yourself, what are you supposed to do? Okay. Importing and merging data from EHR into research registry is challenging. Okay. An ETL solution should be developed to extract data or required information from EHR to data warehouse. Okay. ETL process should validate the patient information for all required fields and for field format. If there are any problems, patient registrars are notified about the errors. Patient registrars will review the errors and fix them. Okay, so it's just a simple project. We do have EHR. We are required to create a clinical data warehouse, and all that we need is to use ETL. That's all we need. So already we are getting to technical part. We don't have a database yet. I believe you don't have a database yet. So we're going to start creating the database. We're going to create tables. We're going to insert data. And then from there, we're going to use ETL again to get that information from EHR. And we can load that information into data warehouse. And then from there, maybe in the staging or when it's in there, we're going to find a way to validate that information. So I don't want this video to be so long. I'm going to stop here. And in my next video, now we're going to see this in really well. Okay, we're going to see all that picture. So far, we do have EHR. We do have ETL. And we do gonna create a clinical data warehouse. And from here, we can use Power BI, maybe SSRS to present that information. In here, we're gonna use SSIS. In here, HR, we can use SSMS. Okay, and then I'm liking this. Source of data, maybe we can generate our own data. or else we can use CSV files. I'm going to add here CSV. We're going to import that information to EHR. And now we can see here technical terms. All these terms, if you start looking for jobs, you're going to see you may need this somewhere, or they'll be asking if you know all these terms. Okay, so we'll be answering a lot of interview questions, and we are seeing everything is coming together. And if you can prove or you can show that these hiring managers have done all these within this project, they're gonna like you. Believe me, they're gonna give you a job. Okay, thank you very much. Let's get to the next project. Next video. Thank you.